Hi guys and welcome to another FIFA 21 video, and today guys I'm going to be giving you some predictions that we could see for the upcoming Path to Glory Festival of Futball promo, which is going to be starting tomorrow at 6 PM, just 2 hours before the Euros does kick off. And also the Copa America is another tournament that's going to be part of this Path to Glory promo, and that also kicks off this weekend as well. So I've accumulated quite a few players for this video, around about 14 players I believe it is. Usually around 15 typically go into packs that we've seen in previous promos, and I think this promo is going to be lasting for a month. Apparently, according to like certain dates that were put into the loading screen, and I'm looking forward to it so much. Let's get straight off into the video. I'm going to try and justify my reasons for picking these players. So we're going to start off with Denmark, and I'm going with Christian Erickson. He doesn't have any team with the season cards this year, and I'm hoping what EA go for is players that weren't a part of a team this season. Of course, they might pick a few of the cards because obviously they want to have those marquee players who've been playing fantastic all season and might already have team season cards. But I'm hoping that they go for players that are still, class players that but maybe didn't have necessarily the best kind of club seasons. And obviously Erickson, despite Inter winning the title, I don't think will be sticking around with the next season, but he's going to be Denmark's marquee player. And also they're probably likely to go through their group. They're with like Belgium, Finland and Russia. You'd fancy him to at least at minimum finish third, and you would think they're going to be one of the best third place teams. And I think him as a 92 rated card getting a big boost. I think a lot of these cards, even for the kind of base ratings on these Path to Glory cards, I think they're going to be given big increases on whatever their highest card currently is. So I think Erickson has like an 88 rated highest card currently, so he'd get a nice increase. Moving into the next one, I'm going with Gnabry for Germany. There's quite a few good players for this pick. A lot of the forwards have been given quite a few special cards recently, although to be fair, I suppose Havertz is a massive shout to potentially go for him. I'll go with Gnabry though, who would have a fantastic card on that left hand side. I think going from like an 88 rated to a 92, he would be superb. But the question is, will Germany even get out of their group? I mean, they probably won't finish in the top 2 positions in my opinion, but they should be one of the best third place teams. Personally, I don't think any of the German players that get put into this promo, which they will do, there will be at least maybe 1 or 2 or whatever, I don't think they're going to get many upgrades. I think they might struggle in this tournament. The next one, Ferran Torres of Manchester City and of Spain. 89 rated for him, going up from his 84 rated inform card / ones to watch card. I think he'd be pretty cool to be able to go for there. There were a few ones I was looking for in the attacking position, Jared Moreno, but he had a team with the season card. Torres ultimately didn't. Could you made a case for him to get into team with the season? Probably not. I think he's just... he's good, he just simply hasn't had like enough game time, I think, at City this season. But I think as a Path to Glory card, he would be very good. Of course, one of the lower rated cards probably available, but still, has the potential to get some very, very high ratings because you'd at least fancy Spain to be able to progress through their group. Wijnaldum's next one, 91 rated. Only 2 increases from his road to the final cards. So will he be given kind of like, effectively this is still like a road to the final. Would he be given like a back-to-back road to the final type of card, but this one for international football? Potentially so. And he goes to a 91 rated. Would they give him that PSG card? That would be really interesting if they did. Because of course he's now just signed for them as of today, but it kind of depends how long it takes for EA to kind of put his new card in game. I don't think they'd probably do it in time if he was to put into this promo. I still think he'd be at Liverpool personally, but he'd be very nice, and you can fancy the Dutch going pretty far in this tournament. And now the first Copa America card, and I've gone with Morelos because there aren't too many teams in the Copa America, especially with the fact now that Argentina aren't in the tournament. So there's like one major nation, one of the favourites to win the whole tournament. I think I put in this whole video 4 Copa America cards from the big 4 nations left, and you'll have a look at the 3 in a second. But I want Morelos because Rodriguez is injured, not even play. James Rodriguez isn't a part of the tournament. So Morelos, to an extent, is probably one of their kind of key marquee players now. So I went with him as being like one of the more kind of lower rated cards, but still has the potential with Colombia, who are still a good nation and are expected to do relatively well in the Copa America, and I think he'd be kind of like a nice cool card, especially there's quite a few good Rangers players in this game, team season Goldson, Tavernier, Foot Birthday, Ryan Kent, so actually he does provide quite a few good links. And then we continue with that Copa America theme. Alexis Sanchez, he's had actually a couple of informs to show of Inter Milan. Ultimately, no team with season cards. This is the perfect time to give him like an insane card that could potentially get so many upgrades. Chile have done pretty well. They kind of outdone themselves in quite a few recent Copa Americas. I think they won it like a few tournaments ago for this, and I think he'd be fantastic. On that left-hand side, and maybe even as a central base player, he'd be going from an 85 on that most recent inform up to a 90 rated. He could get some serious upgrades, and we could finally have an insane Alexis Sanchez once again in FIFA. back to the Euros, I've gone with João Felix. He ultimately didn't get a team with the season card. I think he kind of suffered with injuries once again this season, but he's done better than what he did in his first season. Had a player of the month card, I think he said maybe like 1 or 2 informs. They had like a headliner as well. I think he did. This would be the perfect cards. Give him a 92 rated, give him that 5 rating increase on his 87 rated cards. He'd be superb. And they're going to have obviously quite a few marquee players, and I think people like João Felix can be those marquee players. Portugal are a very, very good team. Yes, they are on paper in the most difficult group, but I still think they should progress, probably in second place, and I think Felix would be a really cool player to have a part of that, or maybe even Bernardo Silva, but I've gone with João Felix. Italy, we're going with Florenzi. I was thinking going with Bonucci, but ultimately, is Bonucci kind of like a cool enough card? I was thinking of Donnarumma as well as a goalkeeper, and I ultimately decided against that. I went with Florenzi because, he has been a bit of a fan favourite in previous games. I think he's going back to Roma, actually, for the start of next season. I think he was only on loan at PSG for this season, but 89 rated. Look at that card. He could basically just play anywhere on the pitch. Like, in midfield, he'd be fantastic. And I think Italy should do pretty well in this tournament. I think a lot of people are kind of like, I'm not like expecting them like to do bad, but I think a lot of people are just kind of like ignoring them and are just kind of predicting that they'll probably go out in like the quarters or something like that. A lot of people don't think they'll be able to challenge. But I think they've got a half-decent squad, and I think Florenzi would be a pretty cool player to have to kind of represent Italy for the path to glory. Belgium next. I'm going with Alderweireld. Now, of course, there are a lot of fantastic attacking options for Belgian players in this game, but a lot of them were a part of team of the season. And ultimately, I think Ian might kind of go and switch to something else. So I'm going with Alderweireld, 90 rated. Okay, he's going to need like a few increases on some areas of his cards, but maybe a few people won't agree with that choice. Maybe a few people might say, go Lukaku or De Bruyne, but they've already got like ridiculously high team with the season cards. So I personally would like to go with Alderweireld because if he does get quite a few upgrades, which you expect him to do so, it just makes like that Belgian backline in FIFA just look a lot more appealing for people to be able to go for like full Belgium squad. So I think Alderweireld actually is a pretty decent choice. Now it's England, and for me, it's between two people, Phil Foden or Jack Grealish. Two players that you could obviously say very much had an argument to both be in team of the season, and I think one of the two of them will get in. I personally think Foden's more likely to get in over Grealish, thinking about it more, because he's seen as kind of like the wonder kids, but Grealish has still been very good this season. But I think that Foden probably goes into the tournament in slightly better form and probably is a better marketing points. But hopefully Grealish might get himself like another objective card, like his Team of the Year nominee cards, and maybe like an SBC. He would be pretty cool. It's either going to be him or Foden. I went with Grealish because I just prefer that more. But I think Foden as well has got like it's going to be one of the two. I can't see it being anyone else. I don't think they put both into packs. I think it's just going to be one player from one nation. So yeah, Grealish for that one. Next one, we're going back to the Copa America. I think this is our final Copa America player, Richarlison. 91 rated. Had a half-decent season with Everton. He had that what-if card as well as an 87 rated. And yeah, I think he'd be a pretty cool card to have as part of Brazil. I was thinking going with like Firmino as well, but ultimately went with Richarlison. He would be insane as a striker, as a 91 rated striker. And Brazil probably are ultimately the favourites now. So this is a card that can very easily, in 4 to 5 weeks' time, be like 96 rated. So he'll be pretty expensive if he gets in there. Getting towards the last few now, I've gone a few kind of like off nation. So we saw earlier on with Erickson from Denmark. We won't get players from North Macedonia, or at least I don't expect to. But I think Turkey will do well in this Euros. I've got to be honest. I think a really cool representative for Turkey would be Calhanoglu. Okay, they got Soyuncu, Kabak, they got Yilmaz, but they got Yilmaz in particular has got so many cards. I think Calhanoglu would be great. Okay, he's got quite a few good informed cards, but give him a big card that he deserves. Ultimately, kind of maybe deserved to be in team with the season for the Serie A, but didn't get quite in there. Recognize him now for the Path to Glory promo. He would be insane. Hopefully, they wouldn't put him out on the wing and they keep him central. I remember using his Rule Breakers card at the start of the game, which was on the left-hand side. But for this stage of the game, he probably needs to be played centrally. But him as a 91 rated would be fantastic. And I think Turkey, in my prediction that I've done, I predict them to get to the semi-finals. Watch out for this team. They're going to be good. Okay, they might get beat tomorrow against Turkey, but honestly, not against Italy, but ultimately, I think they'll go far in the tournaments, and I think it'd be really, really cool. And hopefully, Turkey will have a player for this tournament. Forsberg, as Sweden, I think they're another nation that are likely to get one, and he would go up 5 ratings from his Player Moments SBC from quite a few months ago. He'd be pretty cool as a 91 rated. And then we finish with France. Don't worry, I didn't forget about France, and it was a toss-up between quite a few players. I was thinking Giroud, but then I was thinking, probably not. And I was thinking I probably could maybe do a put on another striker, and I was looking at the attackers. Mbappe, I don't think we'll get one of the loads of cards that he's had. I've gone with Griezmann. Didn't get a team of season card. Had a half decent season at Barcelona, certainly better than the season before. And he's always done well in the Euros. He's always delivered. He's got a really good goal to game ratio for them. Of course, France got to the final last time out, and he was one of the key players for France in that tournament, certainly from like an attacking perspective. And I think it'd be great as well to have a part of this promo. So let me guys know what you think of my predictions as well. But anyway, guys, that will finish off this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.